Water, water everywhere, but none to drink. It's a popular line from a poem by Samuel Taylor, which suggests the fact that you could be surrounded by something and not benefit from it. For example, 97% of Earth's water is seawater, but only 3% of it is drinking water. Bringing it home, Nigeria is blessed with a whole lot of water resources, but a staggering amount of Nigeria, over 60 million Nigerians do not have access to potable water. We are here just because you're there, and you know we love you, right? Join the conversation. And I know Thelma is here ready to take the conversation to another level. Thelma, take it away, girl.
Yes, about water.
Yeah.
It was indeed a very interesting conversation yesterday.
It was.
We had the opportunity to hear from the Honorable Minister for Water Resources and Sanitation, as well as Mr. Paddy Eziala.
Apart from drinking your water every day, there's another thing that could relax and keep you healthy. Deep breaths, relax, and namaste.
Raise your knee, walk towards your trunk. Namaste. Hello to everyone. I am Dipti Ranjan Mohanty, a trained yoga teacher from High Commission of India, Abuja, CGTNASI. Now we perform Nauka Asana. Nauka means boat. So the posture name is Nauka Asana or boat posture. Before that, we should know the contraindication. Those who are suffering from peptic ulcer, hernia, sciatica, slip disc, severe back pain, they should avoid this posture. In case of pregnancy, women should avoid this posture. So now outstretch your both legs. Straight your both legs. Now come to lying down position. Lie down on your back. Both hands side of your body, palm facing down. Both feet together. Now breathe in, raise your both leg. Raise your both hand, raise your head. Forehead and both big toe parallel to each other. Feet should be 50 centimeters above the floor. Breathe out slowly down. Breathe in, tight your abdominal muscles, raise your both legs, raise your head, raise your both hand, both palms above your knee. Balance this posture through your buttock. Breathe out slowly down. Once more, breathe in, raise your both legs, raise your hands, raise your forehead. Now with normal breathing, maintain this posture up to 20 seconds. Tight your abdominal muscles. Don't lose it throughout the practice. Breathe out slowly down. Now we will do the variation of Nauka Asana. Bend your right knee, place your right foot above your left thigh. Breathe in, hold the breath inside, raise your left leg up, raise your head, raise your both arm, both palm above your left knee. Breathe out slowly down. Once more, breathe in, raise your left leg up, head up, breathe out slowly down. Now change your legs. Straight your right leg, bend your left knee. Place your left foot top of your right thigh. Breathe in, raise your right leg up, head up. Breathe out, slowly down. Breathe in, hold the breath inside, tight your abdominal muscles. Breathe out, slowly down. Release the posture. Release your legs. Now come to sitting posture. Turn towards your left side, come to sitting posture. Naukasana, boat pose. This asana stimulates the muscular, digestive, circulatory, nervous and hormonal systems, tones all the organs and removes lethargy. It is especially useful for eliminating nervous tension and bringing about deep relaxation. It is also useful for women preparing for childbearing and may be practiced during the second trimester for pregnancy. Thank you for joining the yoga session. See you next time. Namaste. Raise your knee, walk towards your trunk.
Namaste dip from one fitness conscious duo to another. It's all about the namaste people, right?
Yeah.
We know the importance of exercise. I mean, it invigorates, it energizes, it rejuvenates.
Babe.
It repositions. So we don't joke with it. Well, thank you, Dip, for that. Our first break beckons. We'll take it. We'll be back. Not to forget, communicate. Send in your experiences and your messages. Let us know who you are and where you're reaching us from. It's Weekend Deal.
Welcome back. If you're just joining us, it is Weekend Deal coming to you from the network service of the NTA. Okay, so thousands have lived without love, but none has lived without water. That shows you how powerful water is. A very simple substance, but liquid, but very, very, very powerful. Now, to tell us more about water and its availability, especially in Nigeria and our situation, is our backgrounder put together by Francis Ogbe. It will also kickstart our conversation.
The water sector in Nigeria is still evolving. Even though we are blessed with enormous amount of water resources, the economic aspect of these resources has seen to it that there is scarcity, economic scarcity of water in Nigeria. The quality of the water people drink generally is a thing of concern, because most of the water boards you see in Nigeria, the water you get from public taps, you may not be able to vouch for the quality of the water you drink. Water scarcity in Nigeria is being driven by, one, limited capital to develop it. Then you have infrastructure constraints. We do not have adequate infrastructure. Then we also do not have data to really know who has water and who does not have water. Then you also have issues of corruption, mismanagement of resources, leakages, limited budget allocation. So those are some of the things that constrain access to water for not just people, but for agriculture. Boreholes is a coping mechanism. Without boreholes, access to water or water access in Nigeria will be so limited. If you look at the ratings, many Nigerians have access to water because of these boreholes, and these boreholes are self-supplies. People supply their own water. So it's a coping mechanism. When people say Nigerians are resilient people, these are some of the things they do for themselves. Nigerians are giving themselves water. And people are drinking just water, and most of the boreholes are not treated. People did not even bother to test the water at source before developing the borehole and now supplying it. They just want to have water. The problem is not policy, but I think it's implementation. When you talk about policy, you need resources, you need budget. You need budget to work the policy. But are we doing that? What is happening to what is budgeted? Have you looked at the trend of budgetary allocation over the years. When the budget is released, you bother to see what is being allocated. That's federal government. Federal government do intervention programs. The job of federal government is not to provide water services, but to make policy to guide the sector. And then the policy describes the relationship between federal government and the states. States do their own policy to guide how they provide that water services. Are they going to bring a private provider to run their water boards and give people water and collect fee for that? Yes, many states have such policies, but are they being implemented? So it is not a question of policy. It's the kind of people who have implementing these policies. Everybody can have access. It's a possibility. After all, in the developed world, every household have access to water. So we need water that gets to people's homes. Because when water gets to people's homes, to be in a better position and to be in good health.
Weekend Deal today is captioned Water Availability in Nigeria. Weekend Deal.
Interesting way to open up our conversation today. We set the tone yesterday. We continue today. It is important that everyone has access to clean and potable water. When we're talking with Mr. Paddy yesterday, we got to learn that digging boreholes,
It's not safe for
when
the
the mood takes on, it's not safe for us.
Not safe.
And by association, we're endangering ourselves if this is not checked. But for many, that's the only way they can get water. Well, as we go to Kogi State, Lokoja, we get to meet Aisha and her brother Ibrahim, Rashida, a food vendor, and Abdul Kader, a farmer. We'll get to learn about their experiences with regard to accessible water. But in the meantime, our guests are here patient.
Yes, so let's make room for
yes,
them.
let's make room. Let's welcome them warmly. Okay.
Yes.
To Kogi State, we go at the start.
It is a warm day, and Abdul Qadir, a 28-year-old farmer, has just arrived at his farm to inspect his crops. Meanwhile, Aisha and Ibrahim are at the riverside to fetch water for their families. Rashida, on the other hand, a food vendor, have just returned from a long distance to find clean and drinkable water.
We need the help of the government. Please, you should help us to give us the machine and the hose we should use for the water. And we have a river near beside us.
As in water no dey area now, we just come here come fetch water now.
We do not have water in our area. We suffer, so we need to go far before fetching water.
These are just some of the challenges that this community face as they struggle to get clean and potable water. Lokoja, the capital city of Kogi State, is a unique place in Nigeria, blessed with the confluence of two of the country's largest rivers, the Niger and Benue. Despite this natural abundance, Lokoja still suffers from a lack of access to clean and sufficient water, a problem that is common in many cities across Nigeria. This is despite the existence of the Natural Resource Policy, which seeks to ensure that all citizens have access to safe and adequate water for their socio-economic needs.
If you look at Felele, Felele within the Lokoja town here, Felele has no water. And you can see the distance from Felele to River Niger. You go to Karaworo, that is less than 50 meters to River Niger, yet they have no water to drink. So you go to Ida, Ida is hosting River Niger. There is no pipe-borne water in Ida. You go to Ibaji, the headquarters of flood in Kogi State, and maybe even in Nigeria. Ibaji has no pipe-borne water to drink. So the question you now ask yourself, what is the service to humanity by those who God and people have given power to facilitate, that you cannot provide water to your citizens?
Agriculture is one of the major sources of income for most residents in Kogi State, and lack of clean and sufficient water has led to crop failure, malnourished animal production, and financial hardship for the farmers, thus aggravating the challenges faced by residents of these communities.
We are buying water here. Sometime before you get water, you reach evening, you suffer before you get the water to feed those animals. So we are buying it for those people that they are selling. All around here, there is nothing like water. There is no borehole, nothing. So we are buying from those Merua. Sometime before Merua give you water, it takes time. Even we human beings say we need water, but there is no water around here.
We should continue to remind the government the importance of water at state level, and that is what we've been doing here. Whether the government like it or not, the citizens need to let the government know the importance of water and why they must. It is not an option to provide citizens with water. You can manage if you don't have electricity. A lot of rural communities today have no electricity, but citizens are surviving. But can you survive? How many commissioners can stay in their offices and in their houses for 1 week if there is no water? So these are the issues that is there. It is shameful for us to see our citizens in Karaworo and surrounding going to the stream to look for water. The well put in place by the Great Sadano near my father's house up to 60 years ago is still functioning because the community didn't allow it to spoil. As I'm talking to you now, they are fetching water there. So the community owns it, they clean it, they develop it. So even if you don't drink well, because we are behaving like acting big man now, you use the water to wash your car, you use the water to wash your cloth, which is very, very important. You can also use that water to go to toilet.
Indeed, the public is looking up to the government to increase its investment in water infrastructure, but it is clear that the efforts of the government alone would not be enough to provide tangible solution to the water crisis. Therefore, the need for greater involvement and participation by all citizens, from planning, implementation to maintenance. By working together, the people of Kogi State and other states in Nigeria can make meaningful progress toward ensuring access to clean and sufficient water for all.
It's interesting to learn what's happening in Kogi State, and many will be amazed because when we talk about Kogi, the very phrase that comes to mind is the confluent state because of the rivers Niger and Benue. But good thing we all hear about assiduous working to provide water for everyone. And it's time to meet our guest. He is Engineer Kashim Ali, past president of Quran. And he is here. Engineer Kashim Ali, great to have you on Weekend Deal.
Thank you very much, Thelma.
Yesterday, we promoted you. The intro was yesterday because Talatu interviewed you during the week, and you were part of her package with some reference to Karu and the water challenges that they are facing. So good a thing you are here today live to tell us how it's happening and what's happening. Yesterday, when we began talking with Mr. Ezeala, we opened up with if there was a crisis in Nigeria. That's been established. Little matter how we knitting and tidying the issue. But what we can look at now is, where do we go from here? What is a practical plan and solution that will make it possible for every Nigerian to have access to clean and potable water?
Well, the solution really, in truth, is with our leaders. Because unlike other places of the world, we are not able to supply of the resources.
Exactly.
For instance, surface water alone will have well over 200 billion cubic meters. As you want to share it for everybody, at least each one of us will have at least 1,000 cubic meters to deal with. Water is replenishable, so what you have, it keeps going round and round. So it means we don't have scarcity in terms of the raw resources. That is for surface. For the ground, we have nearly 100, about half of that, was about 80-something billion cubic meters. So again, that we can keep as reserve in the event of an emergency, which is what is supposed to be. Now, who takes the decision on that? It has to be people who have the powers, because I can try to provide myself water because it's a necessity by looking for streams. And if you look at the history of the world, and especially in Nigeria, most settlements are around streams, one stream or the other. That is what makes people migrate to such places. So you know, water is an essential commodity, something we all need to live. It's existential. So we must appreciate that. Our leaders must appreciate that. Even in the colonial times, when they had no much respect for us because of the class difference, we had water. Villages, communities had tap water on the streets. Children would go and fetch water from there and take home. And that continued till after independence. So today, even the cities do not have water. So if you are asking for way forward is our not policymakers really. Our leaders must implement their roadmap. This nation has a roadmap on water supply. Yes. The Federal Ministry of Water did an extensive work on roadmap for water supply.
2016 to 2030.
God bless you.
6 years to go.
Nobody is looking at it. The state
but the Honorable Minister said he's working with it.
No, it's not. You see, good enough. We have had good honorable ministers of water resources. But provision of water to you and I does not rest with any of them. Okay. It rests with municipal authorities. Okay. It rests with subnationals. In the states, in fact, they're supposed to empower the local governments to provide water for their communities. And they are supposed to provide at the macro level. Federal government has gone extra mile to do, in some places, they have built dams. They have even built treatment plants for some states to help them provide water. Even the Kogi we are talking about, there is a dam built by the Federal Ministry of Water Resources in Kogi West. In Ondo, they built not only the dam, but they built a modern treatment plant. All they needed to do was operate that treatment plant and take water to Akure and the neighborhoods. Do they have water there? So it has come to a point. In Gombe, they use it fairly well for some times. I recall I visited there, but the design of their own treatment plant is such that it relies so much on electricity.
But if the dams are there, like you say they've been built, what limits the ability to provide water for citizens?
Yeah, it's for the leaders to recognize the significance of water. Yes, they see, you use the word, this water is powerful, and it is indeed powerful, just like air. But because God has given it to us freely, we tend to not to value them. Water can, apart from, literally, water can clear off any structure and not leave a trail. If, God forbid, if we didn't put protection in Abuja and there's a flood, they can wipe out the whole of the city, and someone who is visiting Abuja for the first time will never know that there was ever a city here. That's how powerful. The same thing with wind. Wind has that capacity to cause destruction too. But because God has given us freely. So the leaders must recognize the place of water, because our body is 71% water. Even the body we have here, if you extract the water, that's why if you don't have water for 40 days, you die. You just die.
Yeah. Like you said, water is indeed very powerful. And NTA Sokoto is waiting to join this conversation. Let's let them in. Take it away.
Water is a basic need and indispensable to human life. Water availability, however, in arid region of Sokoto State is becoming limited to satisfy ever-growing demand. The Sokoto River, a tributary of River Niger, is one of the major sources of water consumed in Sokoto metropolis and its environs. The river can usually rise up to 60% flow level, but the level at the moment is lower than 10%.
You can see now we're almost inside the river, and the flow is just very small. So that is why we have to come and at least increase the passage by removing blockages within the river passage.
I think we are all aware of Kalmalo Lake. It's a popular lake where lots of tippers of fishes are being loaded down and transported down south and what have you. That source has been completely dried up. It's a natural lake. And this is a shared water resource. It's a shared river because we do have shared water resources between Nigeria and Niger Republic. The source of that lake is actually from Niger Republic. And what the government of Niger Republic did was to construct about 3 dams across those rivers feeding into the lake. As a result of that, the lake became dried.
Over 80% of people in Sokoto State, like Malam Abdullahi Maitaru, rely on irrigation farming. Their means of livelihood is, however, at stake.
To ya kawo mana cikas mai yawa saboda muna aiki shi na bushewa.
We are facing setback. Deal we obtained from rice after harvest this season was very low due to water scarcity.
The new water treatment and production plant in Sokoto State is an extension to meet with ever-growing population, yet limited flow of water from the source affects production.
The challenge is that instead of working in full capacity, at times we must have cut, the production to at least half capacity.
We were left with only groundwater source. That river, as surface water, is the major source. When it becomes dry and you are left with only one option, which is the groundwater sources, some of the wells are equally affected because you will see most of our wells nowadays are drying up. Why? Because there is no enough recharge. The recharge usually comes from rainfall, and this rainfall, because of climate change, is declining. As a result of that, the recharge to groundwater sources is equally being affected.
Such drop in water flow in the past make availability of potable drinking water in Sokoto metropolis and its environs a source of concern, necessitating government to explore other alternative sources.
When we came on board, we're not talking about particular area. There was no water in the whole of Sokoto State. There is no water. There was no water. So what we are doing is gradual. Every month we try to do something that will just increase the water production in Sokoto.
And also we have over 70 number of boreholes within the township. So the groundwater that we normally, used to balance up.
The Elumidan Basin is shared by about 9 countries in West Africa. So what the government is supposed to do was to sit down together and respect the rules, because the rules are there. Only that individual nations are neglecting those rules. They are not following the laid down rules as far as the management of water resources is concerned. So what they need to do was to come together and respect those rules and abide by them so that everyone can benefit and no nation can be affected.
Individuals also drill boreholes in their homes, which increase water availability. However, to prevent any potential water conflicts, efforts such as dredging of Goronyo Dam that provide more than 60% of water consumed in Sokoto metropolis should be done.
Interesting. And I heard the mention of boreholes in that package. Someone once said that when we're discussing challenges we face, everyone often has an opinion in Nigeria. And after expressing opinions, there's little to marry our opinion or the level of expertise about identifying challenges. We can hardly marry it with the actionable plans for solutions. But I'm sure that's going to change after our discuss today. As we welcome our next guest, he's George Onota Efayena, a water expert of note. He's been building boreholes in Abuja and elsewhere. Welcome to Weekend Deal.
Yeah.
Okay.
Welcome, Mr. Judge. Okay, so I had a question for you before we went to Sokoto. We are back from Sokoto. And I'm thinking, I remember way back we had the great Benue Waterworks. I'm from Benue, by the way. And we're all hopeful. And it stopped, but it stopped. Just the way they made the noise, nothing is happening. There are no waters running through our pipes. And then I'm here in Abuja. You just said during the break that we have water. And I'm here in Abuja. And then, of course, in the central, we have water. Just a few minutes drive out of Abuja. I'm talking Karo here. The taps are dry. So when we have that situation, all of a sudden I'm understanding why some states are not even being able to give their people water. So if here, our model city, our FCT is having challenges taking water out of the central area, I mean, what would the states do?
Well, let me talk to
Benue Waterworks. Please talk to
I had the privilege of doing a technical audit on that project some years back. And it's well planned, well designed. The concept is excellent. The idea is that, you know, the Benue South generally has a kind of geology that does not accommodate even boreholes so much, and there's little of surface water. So the idea was to harness water at Otobi. To get water there in large quantity and then distribute. Because Otobi is a little at a higher elevation than the remaining of Otupo and the whole of the south. So the idea was that water will flow even by gravity to most of the communities. So the cost of it will be, to the people will be low. That was the concept. Unfortunately, that project was not funded. When we did the audit,
that's what I mean when I said we heard about it. That was it.
It was not funded, and that is why we're yes.
At what time was it determined that the funds weren't available?
No, the contract was awarded. The work has in fact, the dam had almost been completed, but there was no payment to the contractor, and the contractor abandoned work. So all the government, because the Federal Ministry of Water Resources Project, the governor has to go and lobby the Minister of Water Resources now to complete that project. If that project is completed, it will solve that problem. Coming to Abuja, the truth about Abuja water supply, Abuja has a water master plan. And it has a water master plan for the FCC and for the FCT. FCC was supposed to be provided water from the Lower Suma Dam. So the water we have that is going everywhere now is water meant for FCC.
Tell the people watching who is FCC?
FCC is Federal Capital City.
Okay.
Which is about 200,000 square kilometers. Even everybody in the FCC is supposed to have 24 hours water supply.
Let's bring Mr. Ifayana into the conversation. Mr. Ifayana, we're talking about boreholes, and now with for many hearing about water board, it's a very surprise to hear that patients here is very closely linked with the water board system. While many of us, don't even know, we don't know where the office is located because of boreholes. But we've come to hear that sinking boreholes arbitrarily may not be in our best interest. You are an expert at that. What do you take into consideration before you sink a borehole?
Yeah.
And why are we resorting to that?
Yeah. Sinking borehole arbitrarily, that is indiscriminate sinking of borehole, I know is really alarming in Abuja now. And it has its own negative effects. One, environmental issues are there. Borehole water is not really safe.
Okay.
Yes, it's not safe.
For drinking. The water is not safe, or the sinking is not safe?
Even the water for drinking is not safe. I'm a borehole developer, but it's not safe.
So you're among those that are sinking it? You're sinking it now?
Yeah.
So why are you sinking it? When
we must say it as it is.
Yes,
because there are a lot of environmental issues associated with it.
Okay.
Because most of the times, some of the borehole drillers and even the clients, they don't really follow the lay-down rules. Yes. You can't expect to have a good water to drink when you sink a borehole close to a septic tank. You understand? Yeah, definitely there must be some
that's
infiltration.
Scary. That's scary already.
You understand?
And that is happening?
It's happening everywhere now. You can see it. It's happening now. Some they sink, they don't even know if a sewage line passed through here and you
Oh my
sink
goodness.
a canal line. So
wow.
Okay.
You know, this is very interesting, and we'll get to, I'm sure we'll drill you a bit more when we come back. But I'm being urged to take a break now. A break beckons on Weekend Deal. Keep your messages coming in. We want to know what's happening in your part of town, wherever you are nationwide. Let us know what's happening with you. Weekend Deal will be back. Don't go anywhere.
It's all about water and its availability, and our guests are still here. Emma said we should drill Mr. George, but I'll take the drilling to Engineer Ali instead. he said something very profound, that borehole water is not as safe as we think it is. Is the water in the water that is coming out of my tap, can I drink it? Is it safe? And then please speak to what he said about borehole if you have. Yeah.
Thank you very much. The water you take from your tap in Abuja is first class. There's evidence of that. Okay. And just a short story. We know, because from the test results that is done every moment, you will know the quality of water at any particular time. In Abuja water treatment plant is well organized, and we have people checking water from time to time. So the condition is excellent. Besides that, we had a situation in Nigeria one time when the President of America came. One hotel said they will not use our water because they thought Abuja water, because they felt it was public water that was substandard. But when the officials from the country came there, when they checked their own water, they said their water was not good. It was borehole, and they now had to go to water board lab, and they said the water was excellent. So since then, that hotel in Metama has linked up to Abuja water. So Abuja water, any water from the tap in Abuja is first class. If there's any contamination, it's either within your house, because sometimes people have a pipe coming into the kitchen, and then it's broken, some debris enter it, and then except that, or with the line, short line between your building and the connection point. If not, the water that comes in water board is excellent.
Okay, Mr. George, speak to that.
Yes.
You, we know about many associations, such that people that do salon, that cut hair, people that sell in the market, they form groups so they can push for better practices. What about you and your team? What are you guys doing? You are saying you, Mr. George and his team want to do it right, but there are many others who are not doing it right.
We have borehole drillers and rig owners association in Abuja. But one of the cardinal points actually is fostering of a business relationship among themselves, monitoring of their members.
Are you doing that?
They are doing that.
Okay.
They are doing
so
that.
What has
but
come of
on
that?
the professional aspects of checking some of the lapses, I think they've not
got to that
done.
Extent, yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So.
But the government has to still come into that.
Okay, before the government comes in, let's say I've already dug my borehole.
Yes.
And now I want to start drinking safe water. What do you advise me to do to make that water safe? Already have the borehole, and it's serving my family. So where do I go from there?
Yes, there is at least you can install a water filter.
Okay.
Yes, you install a water filter. Okay. It will help. You know, the borehole, no matter what, you always see some, you see,
thing.
yes, apart from that, even some
regularly.
little sand, sediment stuff like that. But when you put that filter, it will help. Instead of just the water coming from you, entering your tank, you just, that filter will help you. At least that one is a bit cheaper. Like, if you go to areas,
will save you, Mr.
Yes.
George. It has gone beyond help. It will save your life, and that of your family, and any visitor that comes in your direction. And Nigerians should listen to that. Really, someone just told us like 3-4 years ago about that filter, and since then, more people are using it. But what many forget to do is to change that filter
maintenance.
regularly.
Yes, regular
If
cleaning.
not, the end doesn't justify the means.
Wait, I still want to appeal, please.
Okay.
There's water in Abuja.
Yes,
if you have a problem we supply. In the FCC,
yes,
please
water
contact the
in
water
Abuja
board.
Center, yes.
They have area offices.
In Abuja
At times it could be
there is water.
a small problem that has remained unsolved. That is what is it. And people just think borehole is, but borehole is in Abuja and very specific.
Okay.
It's very dangerous, especially in the low-lying area. Like, sometimes you can accommodate maybe in Asokoro and Guzape and Co. But in Metama, Usetu and all the rest, you have a problem. Please, if you have even borehole now, if you have a borehole, even Apple, if you have borehole now, I have not gone to the water board. Go there. We have what they call the mobile laboratory.
Okay.
They will go and have a check on it for you, and then they will give you a report so that you know the status of your.
So what a friendly water board. Water board indeed is our friend.
No, it is. Water board will do that for you so that you can.
Free of charge.
But beyond that is the fact that they will even solve the problem. Because if you are in Apple, there's water in Apple. There's water in Apple. There's no reason for anybody to do a borehole in Apple.
Okay.
There's no reason. So the problem could be.
Are you sure the water gets to everywhere in Apple?
It does.
Okay.
The government water line.
It does.
Engineer Ali and Mr. George, we ask you to hold your thoughts. We'll be back to talk about the veracity otherwise of sinking boreholes in some parts of Abuja. For now, Kano is ready. We do know that we need adequate water to push forth agricultural. What's happening in Kano? How are they holding forth? Let's see.
No doubt, Kano State has great potential for agricultural, land and livestock resources for economic growth. This is largely supported by the presence of large man-made water bodies intentionally constructed to provide adequate drinking water for the people in one way and to enhance agricultural development for food security on the other.
We have the Chidumwada water treatment plant, we have the Gari water treatment plant, we have Thomas water treatment plant, we have Osalla water treatment plant, we have Turomawa water treatment plant, we have Watari water treatment plant, and so many others.
For years, due to combination of reasons, such as population increase, non-functional operations of certain facilities in Water Supply Ministry, attempt to provide people of Kano State with adequate drinking water is met with constraints.
All these water treatment plants, when we came in newly in June last year, all of them were down. The ones outside Kano were not working at all. But alhamdulillah, with the coming of this administration, I want to say before everybody that all these plants are now working above 75% of their designated capacities.
Some areas have been without public water supply for a decade now.
A rana ina samun kamar naira 2,500-3,000. Ina yin sawo 7-8 duk sawo 1,500. Amma ya danganta idan haka kamar akwai ruwa wani lokacin ba zai wuce ba ma kai sawo 1 naira 500 ka samu na abin shi kawai.
Well, of course, we believe there are some places now not accessing water, like Dakta, Brigade, and parts of Savangari, only I say Savangari. We are now trying to increase the capacity of the pumping operation now. We are trying to acquire more pumping machines to add up to the existing pumping machines so that our water supply can reach far distances now within the Kano metropolitan area.
Irrigation farming practice is really a big approach for commercial agriculture. The need for incessant supply of water is therefore paramount. Farmers living within the watershed areas get access to available dam waters through canals to their crops. Depending on the scale at which they operate, easy access to water resources really enhances their operations.
These dams that they have a lot of water canals around them, for which water is channeled to these canals. People are irrigating the farmland, and we are obtaining food from this.
We're very much sure that all communities surrounding that areas are going to benefit
And one other important thing that we're looking at is the degraded lands, because when you have water conservation, farms that have been deserted for long, that are not in use, through that water conservation, it can prompt their use so that people can use them and earn a means of sustenance.
Agriculture as an important sector of the economy. There are presence of agencies that augment government effort to boosting farming for food security.
If you look at what we are trying to do, or where we are trying to construct some of this water conservation, you learn that they are very far away from the existing dams that we are having. So the first thing we do is to carry out the need assessment. Is there a need of activities like this? If there is, then we make sure that we do it. And one good thing about project like this is that we don't just construct the water conservation and leave. We make sure that we empower the communities around those spaces. We train them on the farming activities.
Okay, talking about the FCT, we're using the FCT because we're all here, and we're not neglecting the states. We are hoping that all the state governments will latch on what the federal government has provided for them. Okay, my first question would be is it very expensive to treat water? Is it very expensive to treat water? I want to understand, I'm trying to get a sense of why a whole lot of states are laying back, or why some people are not doing the right thing. Is it expensive to transform water in its raw state to potable water?
It's not so expensive in truth. Okay. It's not so expensive. But people need to appreciate this. Often I try to say that when you go to a city, and I'm sure all of us have that experience, when you go to an hotel in the city, you open the tap, you put on the light. Mm-hmm. You don't even, AC is secondary to this.
Yes.
It's when you can see that the water is flowing,
that
you cannot think of cooling.
AC, yeah.
So, but so what we had as a principle in Abuja way back was that we want people to come in to Abuja and love Abuja because they can come into the hotel, put on their tap and water flows. Go to any house, put on your tap and water flows. What are the state governors? Because most of them don't stay in their states. They're always in Abuja. So when they go to their liaison offices, I want them to turn on their tap and the water will flow. Yeah. So that they will remember that, why is it not flowing
in my own state?
House? So that they can learn something from there. Okay. And that's why Abuja was always prioritizing water. But except that of recent, there's a challenge. Some of the treatment plants, part of it has packed up.
Okay.
And in fact, they have the rehabilitation is supposed to take place. But it's taking a long time.
How long ago did they pack up?
Last year.
Okay.
So the thing packed up and it was evaluated and there was a need to rehabilitate.
So we're waiting on that rehabilitation now.
I will use the opportunity to plead with the Minister of FCT to please let the rehabilitation program at the Lower Osman Dam water treatment plant start.
As a matter of urgency.
As a matter of urgency. Because if we want to use Abuja as an example,
yes,
it has to be an example.
It's true.
A clear case of example. Because those days, let me tell you, the embassies used to visit the treatment plant.
Lower Osman.
They were going there deliberately so that they can be sure of the water that they take in there. And all embassies, as far back as 20 years ago, were connected to our water supply system. They were not using boreholes or anything. All embassies in Nigeria. I conducted them around that place in those days. So that is what everybody knew that the quality of water in Abuja was very high.
Okay, Nigerians are watching us.
Densification.
They have messages.
What we have was densification.
They want to contribute to the conversation.
Densification in terms of recharge. So we have enough raw water because Burara has 950 million cubic meters of water. Lower Osman has 100. And then treatment capacity is about, installed capacity is 30,000 cubic meters per hour, which provides adequately for everybody. So if the treatment plants are working, but my appeal, let me just say this to the Minister of FCT, please let Abuja be a shining example of how municipal water supply is done, so that states can borrow. Because if we do water well in Nigeria, our health bill will crash.
Generally lends his expert advice to this issue. Let me just ask you something. What you are saying now is about your people of your ilk doing things the right way. For example, I don't know that I need to do veracity studies, check all those things. If I call you now and others who drill boreholes and say, come and do this for me, will you, when you see the money now, everything is ready for you, big amount, and there's more work coming if you do that thing for that person. Do people that drill borehole tell people who want to do it that this may not be safe? Is that happening at all?
It depends on the company doing it. That is because we will come into that. That is where regulation comes in. The government can regulate this water borehole drilling. Not just solely, let's just say because we're in Abuja. And these things will be done properly, because once the companies, they are licensed, they are certified, the borehole drilling company in Abuja, and there is a good monitoring from the Water Resources Board, people will fall in line and do the right thing. Because if you are caught, your license will be revoked.
Good one. That's
nice. Okay.
Your license will be revoked.
But Engineer Ali, please speak to that first question. The man said he's from Bagaji in Adatu, and that they're in that situation where there is no water, and that who can come to their aid. You started by saying 2 people, so if you can continue that conversation. I was very interested in that.
2 people. First is the Minister of the Water Resources to go and beg the President to allow them complete greater
Benue Water Works.
So that's why I say then the governor has to also come and beg the minister. Because in democracy, lobbying is allowed. And so you have to carry your seat and come and spend some good quality time with the minister, and maybe perhaps go with the minister to the president to finish that project. Once that project is finished, they will have water. That is the solution to that one. But
we're being urged to go to Abeokuta very quickly, very swiftly. Abeokuta is beckoning. They want us to hear their story and their narrative. Tell us what's happened over there in Ogun State.
Water, they say, is life. It is interesting to note that most of the human body is water, at an average of 60%. Hence the need for water by humans, animals and plants on a daily basis.
The water situation is very bad because we have to go extra mile to fetch water, which is not very good. We even have to cross the road, the major main road, to get water. It's very, very disappointing.
The water situation going on in our area is getting bad day by day. People will have to struggle to get water, and we can't manage water in this current situation because of the water scarcity going on.
It has been observed that climate change, coupled with water mismanagement and overconsumption, is causing water shortages across many parts of Nigeria.
You don't have water. You used to go and buy from borehole. We have 2 boreholes here. You used to go and buy water from that place. Maybe because of the dry season, that's why the water is too scarce. No water. No water. The government should provide us water. You can't do anything without water. If you want to wash clothes, you use water. If you want to cook, you use water. If you want to bath, you can't do anything without water. Water is very essential. It's very important.
The government should just please help us build more pipe-borne waters everywhere. If there are many pipe-borne waters, people will not have to go extra miles to get water.
When water dries up, people can't get enough to drink, wash, or feed crops, and economic decline may occur.
The human impact of water scarcity is multidimensional and is very multifactorial. Number one, we call it human activities. If a lot of boreholes are drilled in a particular place, there is tendency that the water might get lost along the way, and if care is not taken, it could lead to a kind of a scarcity.
Water scarcity is a predominantly man-made problem which needs a man-made solution. So, all hands must be on deck to nip the issue in the bud and give it a lasting solution.
So it is time to take another break, but don't go away. Water and its availability. Our guest is still here. Is there hope for people living in other parts, the satellite towns? What's the hope? Are they going to build their dams or what's going to happen?
Well, there are projects that are all going, but for the immediate solution, let's just rehabilitate the Lower Osman Dam water treatment plant. That will solve all these problems.
Okay.
But for the states, let them lower their heads, understand the condition people are in, and go out and look for the money. I've told you example of Benue. Just go and beg federal government to finish that project. Okay. And have your lower your head. They should do what Mbakwe did in Imo. Okay. Those days, you go to the president, beg him, get money, and then you will abuse him after all.
Okay, thank you, Mr. George. Final words.
On the side of trying to make water more available on borehole construction, we advise that for our water boreholes to be a bit safe for us, at least we should try as much to install this water filter periodically. I mean, you treat your well. You understand? You descend, you flush it.
Okay, I want to thank you.
Yes.
We need to go. Engineer Ali, this is how we do it too. We hold hands to say bye-bye to Nigeria, to show unity, to show focus, to show even though that we're diverse, we're still together.
The other hand.
Not to hold patients' hands.
I want to leave out. Yeah. See, I'm feeling so angry now.
I'm sorry, don't be angry.
Okay, don't be angry. No one. Okay, water and its availability. If Nigerians work together, we'll go further, and our water will go nationwide for everyone. God bless Nigeria.
God bless Nigeria.
Bye. Thank you.